ある意味、これが第5のゲーム最後の謎だったわ。
そうだ。バトラは真相に至ると同時にベアトに対する心象が大きく変わった。
それはつまり、やはりお兄ちゃんとベアトには何かの関係があって、それを彼が防出していたと考えるのが適当なの？
About there being a connection between the two of them, I guess there's no doubt at this point in time. But yeah, it makes you think about this. Before it was all about the murder of his family and such, but apparently once Balor reached his truth about Beatrice, I'm not gonna say that he forgets her for the murder of his family. It's more so that I think that between the beginning of episode 6 and the end of episode 5, when he discovered the truth, maybe he took some time to reflect on all this stuff and maybe accept what is going on, and that maybe the things that Beato was trying to do was for the best, maybe? It is something, there's a lot of questions that can be asked for Balor when it comes to what he discovered and how, I feel like more importantly, what he feels about what he discovered about Beatrice and what is going on and why all this stuff is happening. That is to be questioned. Like how he feels about this. Now, in regards to what Angie is asking over here about what he forgot, not sure if it's 100% him forgetting, or maybe there's also something in there when it comes to him denying what happened in the past. Like, he would say that, I don't remember anything, when in actuality maybe he remembers something and he just didn't want to admit. Maybe, I think I talked about this when the test happened. Maybe there was also that. There was also, the factor of embarrassment, that something happened in the past that embarrassed him. And you remember that one time at the beach when he talked about that stuff where Balor wanted to just put all that embarrassing stuff, inside the box and never look at it again. Maybe there's also that. However, Balor suspected this in the 4th game and asked Beato about it. And within the story, this was denied by the Red Truth. 6 years ago, no person called Beatrice existed for Balor.
6年前にベアトが存在しなかったとも受け取れるし、6年前にはバトラと縁がなかったとも受け取れる。
Or that the person that had a connection with Balor did not exist at that point with the name of Beatrice, but somebody else.
しかしいずれにせよ、バトラはその後6年間、六軒島には訪れない。
ベアトリーチェとお兄ちゃんはこの1986年10月4日が初対面のはず。なのにどうしてすでに確執があるの？さっぱり意味がわからないわ。
第4のゲームでベアトがバトラに問いかけた。後ろ宮バトラの罪に何かの鍵があろうな。その結果がベアトリーチェという存在なのかもしれない。
その結果？お兄ちゃんの罪の結果がベアト
？That Balor's sin created Beato. So yeah, I guess whatever happened 6 years ago to this person that had a connection with Balor, that person created Beatrice, and that took that name of Beatrice with them. It almost sounds as though Oni-chan created a witch called Beatrice himself.
まるでベアトリーチェとはバトラの駒のようだな。 6年前のバトラの罪。その罪で人が死ぬ。殺すのはベアトリーチェ。全てが6年前のバトラの罪から連綿と続くと考えるなら、ベアトリーチェを生み出したのはバトラ自身。まるでバトラの駒のようだと思った。
意味わかんないわ。お兄ちゃんが何かの罪を犯したとしても、少なくとも殺人なんかよりよっぽど軽い何かだわ。それに対する仕返しがこの大量殺人なのだとしたら、あまりにお兄ちゃんの罪と割が合わない。
It is. It feels that way. But I guess you could say that a sin that one recognizes as something meaningless is a sin that would mean a lot to a different person.
ベアトは親族たちを皆殺しにした。お父さんもお母さんもお兄ちゃんもみんな。それに見合う罪がお兄ちゃんにあったなんて信じられるわけがない。
罪は測る人間によって重さが異なる。バトラにとって防出できる程度の罪でも、ベアトにとっては6年を経てなお一族を皆殺しにするほどの恨みを持つに値するものだったのかもしれぬ。
Yeah, I guess so. I guess there's also the possible factor of the breaking point. I feel like I talked about this before. Like, a lot of stuff happened to this person. Abuse with Kinzo, or now recently when it comes to the baby thing, 19 years ago and all that stuff. And now comes in Beller, who might have had like a beautiful connection with our person over here. And once that was severed, or whatever sin Beller committed, made the person be all, oh, well, screw it. I gave you one last chance, life. Now I'm gonna become the Beatrice, and I'm gonna murder some people.
まあ、私もそれはあまりに釣り合わぬと思うし、そして何よりそんな相手だったら、真相を知ったとはいえ、バトラがあれだけ親身になるとは到底思えぬ。
Federian's observation was extremely interesting. In a past game, Beato said clearly that Oni-chan's sin 6 years before was the cause of this 2-day tragedy. I still don't know what kind of sin that was. However, he figured it out at the end of the 5th game. And he even apologized to Beato. Even though she was the witch who had massacred his entire family in retaliation for his sin of 6 years before. Beller apologized to her. Well, of course, he was the player Beller who apologized. Not the Peace Beller whose family had been murdered over and over again. But even so, Beller must have remembered something at the end of the last game that made him feel like apologizing.
その6年前の罪、これまでの物語のどこかにそれが隠されていたとでも言うのかしら。
私はすでにある仮説を立てている。
聞かせてよ。
まだ話せぬ。もうしばらく私だけ答えを知っているかのような優越を楽しむことにする。
続き読まないわよ。
それは困る。しばし耐え、もう少し続きを読め。私の仮説もまだ想像の域を出ぬ。確信を持てたらその時話すこととしよう。
はいはい、我が主。私だって続きを知りたいわ。
Oni-chan and Beatrice. And just what kind of connection is there between them? Learning that will probably be the ultimate key to the truth of this world. After all, remembering that was what enabled him to reach the truth.
Beatrice!
親方様、ようこそお越しを。
Hey there, Kumasawa.
ベアトリーチェ様がお待ちでございます。どうぞこちらへ。
This place was a villa set aside for Beatrice's use. It was a sacred site for her only, built so that she could spend her days without being affected by the outside world. My heart began to race. I'm so glad she was able to revive, and everything is okay. Huh. You know, it's pretty interesting when I think about it. Like, we've seen Kinzo, we've seen the Genji with Kinzo like all the time, talking to each other and such. Genji being his servant and all that, of course. But, you know, it feels surreal to see Kumasawa being the master of, Master? Kumasawa, the game master! But no, it feels foreign to see Kumasawa being the one serving the game master better in this new setting over here. Whereas before, we mostly seen Kumasawa like on the game board under normal setting and such. Usually, when it comes to this sort of meta stuff, you see the witches and demons and such. But now we get to see the servants in this setting. Beato is a personification of the rules. So even though she was destroyed once, it is possible for her to be reborn again. Personification of the rose. Personification of the rose. Beato had quickly succeeded in reviving Beato's body, but he had trouble summoning her soul back. However, during the time he had spent immersed in the creation of the sixth game, she had woken up. And this had happened 3 days ago. Beato let himself be led into the dining hall. The dining hall had been set up for his and Beato's use. It existed so that they could enjoy some black tea while discussing the truth, now that he had finally reached it in its entirety. I want to tell her. I want to tell Beato that I found the truth. Beato couldn't hold back his excitement over this miracle he had been granted. That Beato was waiting for him in the dining hall to hear what he had to say.
Beatrice はどうなんだ？変わりないか？元気そうか？
ええ、それはもうお元気でいらっしゃいます。親方様がおいでになるのをずっとお待ちでいらっしゃいましたとも。ええ。
食堂にいるのか？飯でも食ってるのか？ああ、いいさ。何でも構わない。
驚きますよ。
ベアトリーチェ!
When he swung open the doors to the dining hall, Beato was greeted by a wonderful sight. Though the food laid out on the table wasn't particularly sensational, it was arranged beautifully, and a champagne bottle stood there waiting. Then, the person clad in that familiar dress, with the beautiful golden hair, bowed deeply in greeting.
ベアトリーチェ。
私に姿を与えてくださり、誠にありがとうございます。
いいんだ。そんなのは。よかった。ベアト。
Beato rushed up to Beato and hugged her tightly, just to make sure her body wasn't just mist or an illusion.
俺はお前の謎を ちゃんと解いたぞ。なのにそれを伝える前に消えちまいやがって。
私はここにいます。消えたりなんかしません。
やめろよ、そんな喋り方。王を着せるつもりなんか全然ない。とにかくお前に謝りたい。そして語らいたい。何から先に口にすればいいかさえわからない。
私がお父様に謝られることなど何もありません。私はただお父様のお役に立てればそれで幸せなのです。
ベアト。
ベアトリーチェはお父様のために生まれてきました。どうかあなたの力にならせてください。そしてお父様、第6のゲームの完成誠におめでとうございます。
だからそんな喋り方やめろって。うさんくさくてたまらねえぜ。
Creepy. I would say that she reverted to herself to being a baby. Baby Beato.
この喋り方ではお気に召しませんか？部長法をどうかお許しください。
お気に召しませんかってことはねえが、らしくねえぜ。やっぱお前はいつもの口調がぴったりだ。
Beato smiled vaguely. Together, it probably looked as though they were both smiling with the same joke. However, Beato's smile was literally vague and uncertain. After all, she didn't know how she was supposed to talk.
それよりベアト、一体これは何の冗談だってんだ？まさか大ベアトリーチェ様自らが手料理を作ったってのか？
第6のゲームが完成されましたと聞き、ささやかですがねぎらいの席が設けられないかと思いまして。
ベアトリーチェ様がそれはもう大層頑張られてお作りになられたんですよ。私は一切手伝っておりませんとも。
The food set on the table really was modest and inexpertly made. You could tell by looking at it that Beato wasn't particularly skilled with cooking, and giving it her all when making it. However, signs of discomfort and irritation were beginning to appear on Bella's face.
これはどういうことだ？
Okay, this is confusing. I'm not saying that Beato acting different is confusing. No, I'm talking about Bella over here. Because from what I understood from before, you cannot revive the old Beatrice. The only thing you can do is create a different Beatrice, and through time you can... I don't know if the word mold is a good word. It sounds like a pretty bad word. But to influence this new Beatrice into becoming the other Beatrice personality-wise, you cannot, like, if you were to create the exact same copy of the old Beatrice, it wouldn't be the same as when creating a new Beatrice from scratch and, like, work your way through that. That's what I understood with the whole puppet analogy and such. But I personally assumed that Balor already had that in mind. The fact that he's been confused about all of this, like right over here, of what is going on, it's weird. It makes you think that this isn't what he had in mind when he wanted to revive, quote-unquote revive, Beatrice. Maybe this means that Balor still doesn't have, like, everything figured out. One could say, even after reaching the truth.
ですからベアトリーチェ様が親方様をねぎらおうと。
But in which case, like, okay, I'm thinking about the technicalities over here. Like, what did Balor do to revive this Beatrice? And not figure out that this would be the result. This I guess I'm gonna call her baby Beatrice over here. Baby Beatrice over here. And he was expecting something else. Sweat was starting to show up on Kumasawa's forehead. She was also feeling uneasy. When he noticed, Bella realized that it wasn't just his imagination. Beato turned her back to Bella and stuck a corkscrew into the champagne bottle. Boop! And then she showed it to Bella.
お父様、第6のゲームの完成、誠におめでとうございます。
Imagine if she opened the bottle and all that beer slash wine would spill on Bella at that point.
必ずや宿敵、フルドエリカに勝利することを祈願して、これを捧げます。
Pop. When presented with a champagne bottle and something like that, I want to think that the cork had been pulled out. However, it wasn't the cork. It was the bottom of the bottle. The high-quality champagne that Beato had procured splashed out all over the floor in her dress. Then, the same sound repeated several more times. Each time, one of the plates of food on the table was knocked into the air. Whoa, what is going on here?
お父様、お気に召しませんでしたか？
お前は誰だ？
私はベアトリーチェでございます。お父様のために生まれてまいりました。
違う。こいつは誰だ？ベアトじゃない。そして俺をお父様なんて呼ぶな。これはどういうことだ？何なんだこれは。ベアトを蘇らせたんじゃなかったのか。源氏、これはどういうことだ？
恐れながら紛れもなくそのお方はベアトリーチェ様でございます。
そんなはずあるか。これのどこがベアトなんだ。全然違う。偽物だ。
いいえ、ベアトリーチェ様でございます。
Okay, you know what? Continuing what I was discussing before. If I am to think of my theories from before, of how Beatrice, or in my cases from previous series, Shannon, or in newer cases, Kanon, they were both being raised, or like Shannon was. Okay, I'm just gonna stick with Shannon for right now. Shannon may have been raised by Kinzo after the death of Kuwadori and Beatrice and such, and yeah, we can very well tell you that Shannon was similar to this battle, where she wanted to please Kinzo, but Kinzo was being all mad and such, saying, "This isn't Beatrice! I like blah blah blah." I'm just gonna throw a bunch of stuff on the ground and stuff like that. Like, Kinzo was acting in the past similar to Bella right here. That, okay, this new child, Shannon, may have quote-unquote spawned from Kuwadori and Beatrice, but it's not the same Beatrice. And Kinzo was mad that this isn't the same Beatrice and all that. And she wanted her old Beatrice back and such. So there could be a parallel going on over here between Bella and Kinzo. But again, it makes me confused about Bella, because, like, assuming that my parallel thinking here is right, if that is what happened with Shannon / Beatrice and Kinzo, child Beatrice if that is what happened with Kinzo, similar to what is going on here between this Beato and Battler, if what I'm assuming is right, and Battler reached the truth, does this mean that Battler didn't actually reach the truth? Because if he were to reach the truth, then of course this would happen.
ゲーム版のルールに従い生み出された紛れもなくベアトリーチェ様ご自身でございます。
いや、こんなのはベアトじゃない。ベアトってのはもっとおかしな喋り方をして品のない笑いをして、それから
いいえ、間違いなくベアトリーチェ様ご自身でございます。
Okay, Genji, you are speaking vaguely over here. You're not helping at all. Trying to help, like you're not helping at all with your explanation of what is going on here, and is making Battler confused even more. Oh, this is actually Beatrice. And Battler asked, "Why? This isn't Beatrice. She's not speaking like the usual Beatrice. What is going on over here?" And then Genji is gonna keep repeating that.
じゃあどうしてこんな喋り方をする？どうして俺をお父様なんて呼ぶんだ？
And Genji would respond, "Because it is unquestionably Beatrice."
ベアトリーチェ様はお生まれになったばかりでございます。かつてのような振る舞いをいきなり期待されるのはあまりに酷というものでございます。
まだ記憶が戻らないということなのか。
I wouldn't say it's about memory, but it's about something else, I guess.
親方様、確かにこの方はベアトリーチェ様ご自身です。
Oh my god, I was joking about this, Genji. Come on.
しかし、親方様がよくご存知のベアトリーチェ様ではありません。
Okay, there you go. Thank you. Like, give us some different answers over here.
どういう意味だ？俺はゲームマスターなんだろ？どうしてベアトを蘇らせられないんだ？
ええ、確かに蘇りましたとも。しかし、かつてのベアトリーチェ様は1000年を経られたベアトリーチェ様。一方、こちらのベアトリーチェ様はご本人なれど生まれたばかり。違う人間のように見えるのは致し方ないことでございます。
じゃあどうやったらあのベアトは蘇るんだ？体はある、ここに。魂はどうやれば蘇る？
同じ1000年の人生を歩めば、かつてと同じベアトリーチェ様にもなるでしょう。
1000年を待てと。
人の性格は生まれながらだけのものではありません。その後の生き方や経験によっていかようにも変わります。
Okay. Going back to past theories that I've made before about Kinzo and child Shannon / child Beatrice / child Kanon and such. This feels like a parallel to real life. Again, if Kinzo was expecting a new child Shannon / Beatrice to grow up and become the old Beatrice, it would take years, definitely. In which case, my god, what a disgusting thought. That the child that you're expecting to wait like 18, 19 years for your child to grow up, to become like the person that you once loved, like the old Kuwadori and Beatrice. That's disgusting. I feel like I talked about this before, but I don't remember. It feels like, or maybe I didn't talk about this, like I had it in mind, but it is bad.
意味がわかりますか？同じベアトであっても同じでないということが。
わかるわ。同じ人間が2人いたとしても生い立ちで人はいくらでも変わる。
本来は同じ人間であるにもかかわらず、その生い立ちによって別人と言ってもいいほどに変わり得る。本来人は人であり、人格そのものを指して人とは呼びません。しかし人格を人だと認める人間たちにとって、それはさながら他人のようなものでしょう。
違いねえですな。
Oh, hey. Oh, wait. Okay. I thought that we were talking to Federin in the meta roles. Now we're back to a more human perspective over here, I guess. So Amakusa surely surprised me a little bit. Like, what the fuck are you doing over here, Amakusa? Like, are you gonna want to read with Angie as well, like Federin's story?
お嬢だって12年前の気の毒な一件がなけりゃ、今頃は笑顔が似合うキュートな女の子だったかもしれねえ。
I mean, that surely is a fun thing to happen. Like, you cannot even distinguish between one reality and the other. Yeah. Yeah, it shows that I have gone complete bonkers over time. Okay.
失礼ね。今だって十分キュートだってば。
I understand. If a personality is what makes a person in our eyes, you could say that a second personality is a different person entirely, even if it inhabits the same flesh body. Well, actually, hold on a second. Why did we even change back to this perspective? Like, the reason I was thinking that we were still talking to Federin in the meta perspective, you know, with the setting and all that, was because we were still talking about the story. And I guess in this reality over here, we're still talking about the story, but I guess this means that we're talking about the story in a completely different way. With, like, one version we have Toya and the other version we have Federin. In which case, what would be the difference between the two of them? At the very least, I'm a completely different person that I used to be 12 years ago. If my family had come 12 years ago, then the Angie that resulted would surely be a completely different person from me. Even the same human can become different people. In fact, depending on their upbringing and endless possibilities, they can become an endless number of different people. So, just because this is the same Beato, there's no guarantee that all that she'll be the Beato that Oni-chan knows so well.
ましてや、ベアトリーチェは1000年を経た魔女。人は3日あれば死ぬことだって生まれ変わることだってできる。それが1000年じゃどうにもならないわね。
あなたはなかなかできる読者のようですね。並の読者相手だったら同一の人間であっても、その生い立ちと時間によって別人になりうることを説明するために数百ページを割かねばならぬというのに。
I mean, makes sense. I would need like hundreds of pages, I guess. Oh, we need 150. Okay, like, joking aside. Yeah, like, I do have my views on it. You know, it depends on memories, you know. The memories of a person makes you who you are. As such, even if someone were to think, like, God, I wish I had the power to change that one particular thing from the past, or like change this or change that, like the stuff that you didn't like. Well, the thing is though, if you were to change that, then you will be a completely different person, so you would have to be very careful about that. Memories, that is what makes you who you are.
あまり読者をなめないで。私たちはただ読んでるだけじゃない。読んで考えてるの。
100人に読ませれば90人くらいは読める。しかし意味がわかるのは50人。そしてそこからさらに考えられるのは20人もいない。よく噛んで飲み込みなさいと。ただそれだけの話なのに。
Although you still are talking condescendingly over here, Toya.
しかしあなたはどうやらその貴重な20人の中の一人らしい。
I mean, you know, like here we are talking about the levels of, like the levels of reading and levels of, like intelligence when it comes to how a person interprets a story. In which case, can you really fault like a 9-year-old who wants to read and learn for like the first time? Well, granted, it kind of makes me question how a 9-year-old, well, okay, except for Maria. She is a smart cookie and all that, but besides that, like a lot of kids, they wouldn't be able to pick up on the nuances of a really difficult murder mystery. It is only after you read like much simpler stories, like you learn and such. But it doesn't change the fact that through reading books you learn some stuff. Some people have like different levels. You cannot really expect everyone to like understand your story like 100%. It is through multiple readings and multiple readings of your books. For example, can you speak condescendingly to your reader if, like, first time they read your book and they don't understand something, but after a while, after they read like multiple times, then they're gonna be able to pick up on the nuances of the story the way you want, and then you're gonna say, ah, now that's what I'm talking about. Meanwhile, before you were speaking condescendingly to them, instead of, you know, being appreciative that they even started your book in the first place and such, and they are willing to want to learn and such. How about you focus on that as well, Toya?
だからここへ招いたのです。人の子よ。
You know, it's hard to actually like this Hajijo Toya person. However, though this forgery she had written was still in its first stages, it definitely felt as though it had something very similar to the tales in those message bottles. It's as if, like, you have those kinds of people where they're gonna read the book the first time and they're gonna complain, oh, what the fuck is this shit? I didn't understand any of it. Like, giving them a little bit of hope. Maybe they are gonna be able to understand much later and such. And I lost my train of thought. Speaking metaphorically, one might call it scent. An indescribable stern atmosphere, like a stuffy library. Ah yeah, it feels as if in Toya's mind, those who are worthy of her eyes are those who it feels like those who are worthy of her eyes and mind are those who understand her story from the get-go, who are of much higher intellect, like Angel here. The Beatrice who wrote the message bottles and Hashijo Toya are different people. And yet this has the same scent as that tale. I see. This is why some of those curious witch hunters are so intensely devoted to her. The arcane sense of smell was able to sniff out that familiar scent. Well, you know what they say. They may be different, but you can still pick up like seeds of truth, even if they may be different and such. You can discover some stuff from other people's perspectives.
さ、どうぞ続きを読んで、文字を追うあなたの顔を見るのが何よりも楽しいの。そして言葉を交わし合うことも。
物書きは感想に飢えてるってのは本当ね。でも申し訳ないけど、こんな分厚い原稿を延々と読んでる時間はないの。それより私はあなたに。
時間なんていくらでもあるでしょうに。
Both the second hand and the pendulum of the ordinate clock behind Hachijo had been moving the whole time. However, absolutely no time had passed for a while now. Only about 3 minutes had gone by since the time she had entered the room.
ね、時間など気にすることもないでしょう。あなたが読み終わるまで、すべての時間はあなたを追い立てない。
Oh, wouldn't that be a dream for a lot of people, including me?
ああ、じゃあ次のページ次のページ。
Amakusa badgered me to turn the page, so I returned to the world of the tale once more. Why does her tale have the same scent as Beatrice's, I wonder? Is it because she actually has reached the truth, as she claims? Does this mean that anyone who knows the truth could create an endless number of message bottles? Is that what a cat box world is like? I see. Maybe she really is an endless witch herself. In fact, maybe anyone who knows the truth can become an endless witch. An endless tale created by endless witches. The 2 days starting on October 4th, 1986, where my family is being toyed with endlessly. I have to end it. I have to find a hint of the truth from within this story, and end this endless tale.
Howだ, Beato? 俺の作った第6のゲームは。まあ、素直に褒めるやつじゃないもんな。せいぜい無能なりにそこそこ頑張ったではないかってとこだろうぜ。
無能なりにそこそこ頑張ったではないか。
Wait, what?
ゲームマスターの立場になってよくわかったぜ。お前も毎回随分と苦労してやがったんだってな。ゲームを作るのは楽なことではない。よもやそなたとそれをねぎらい合う日が来ようとはな。
Okay, now I'm confused. What the fuck is going on with that?
ゲームを作るのは楽なことではない。よもやそなたとそれをねぎらい合う日が来ようとはな。
違う。こんなのはベアトじゃない。
Bella stamped hard on the desk, but the piece Beato showed no reaction. After all, Bella hadn't ordered her to react. It was easy to revive that Beato as a piece. However, it will only move according to Bella's wishes. Oh, okay. Okay, so this is a completely different Beato. Maybe a Beato that Bella just created right now on the whim. Again, going back with the puppet analogy from before. You can give the puppet the personality that you created, but it won't be the same as letting a puppet create its own personality through time that is similar to the old Beatrice. Having a conversation with it was no different from talking to himself. Yeah, see, there you go, cause it would be like Bella would create the conversation for the puppet. Like, they will be the one to talk from the puppet's perspective. Like, Bella is creating the conversation with this battle. The Game Master could summon any kind of piece. He could move those pieces in any way he wanted, reigning as an absolute god. However, for that very reason, they were just pieces. That made it unbelievably lonely and sad.
お前はたくさんの核たちやいろいろな物語を紡ぎ出してきた。俺はそれを見て、お前はきっとさぞや楽しいだろうなと思っていた。
だが違う。
お前は信じられないくらいに孤独だったんだ。
お前にとって俺という自らに反逆する対戦相手がどれほど愉快なものか、今の俺には痛いほど理解できる。
Yeah, I think that is also Beller.
あの礼儀正しいおかしなベアとは確かにお前なんだろうな。1000年前の。
Yeah. That is what I'm thinking as well. Like, I honestly don't know, like, again, if what I was saying over here is accurate. And Beller should have realized that this new battle that we created, not this particular one in, like, right here. I'm talking about the other battle, like, Baby Beato. Baby Beato would act similarly to, like, 1,000 years ago's, a.k.a. like, Baby Beato from the past, like, between 19 years ago and until now, when she was a child.
しかし別人だ。お前の姿に瓜二つだからこそむしろ許せない。辛い。
しかしコマではないから俺の意志に背ける。
コマのお前なんかよりあのベアトの方がはるかに血は通ってるだろうぜ。
Yeah, true.
それは認める。
And I think I feel like that is what is more important here, Beller. While that other battle that is much more alive is different from the other battle, you should definitely cherish that.
だが違うんだ。あれはお前じゃない。お前の生き別れの妹か何かで全くの別人なんだ。だからむしろどうしても受け入れられない。
As much as she hated this peace battle, Beller felt an even stronger dislike for her chick battle. Even after a whole 1,000 years, she still wouldn't become the original Beato. Oh boy, okay. I feel like this, like, to me, it feels like a conclusive thought that even if Beller did, like, reach the truth, it doesn't necessarily mean that he knows, like, everything. Like, how he should view this whole thing and such. Instead, he is acting similar to Kinzo. In which case, it feels like Beller still has long ways to go. Even if he knows the truth. Even if she were ordered to act like the original Beato, it would just be an imitation. This was a very similar but separate person, and definitely not Beato herself. Then, in the previous game, Beato really did disappear for all eternity. Even after becoming the Game Master, there was no way to revive him.
笑えよ。この無様な
Just give it a rest already. You're just an illusion who won't laugh unless I order it. And who can't even continue to laugh unless I keep on ordering it. Just disappear! Kenjima this day, or rather this time around, was the same as any other. The typhoon would be coming very soon. And the clouds hadn't yet grown thick, but they were moving quickly. The only thing on Natsu's mind was the plan to cover up Kinzo's absence this year as well. Kraus appeared to have suffered a stomachache from the stress and was resting in his room. Jessica and Kumasawa had left in a boat to go shopping and greet the incoming relatives on Nijima. The servants had been busy since the early morning in preparation for the family conference, the greatest event of the year. Shannon and Kanon were getting the guest house ready.
親族の方々を止めるなら、お屋敷の客室で十分だろうね。
Hello there, Kanon. Yeah, I guess so. The beginning of a new game. The beginning of the new game. Seeing the setting once again in its peaceful moments before the storm.
そうね。
Hey there, Shannon.
こっちのお掃除大変だもんね。でもゲストハウスのお掃除は好き。
奥様や他のムカつく使用人もいないから静かでいいもんね。
Shannon gave a non-committal smile as she performed a detailed examination of the guest room. Did we forget to clean anything? Do we need to restock anything? She diligently gave the room one final check over.
昨夜も入念に点検したじゃないか。姉さんは本当にマメだな。